Welcome to The Scene from Saline County. The Scene is a weekly talk show filmed in the Access TV studio in downtown Salina. The episodes air Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Each week our show hosts discuss local culture, hot topics, and important issues with local and regional guests. Today's episode we'll be discussing youth voting, and our guest will be Election Officer Don Merriman, with our promotion guest being Dr. Milo Wilcox from Living Well Chiropractic. Stay tuned for The Scene.
Hi, and welcome to The Scene. We're glad you joined us. We have a little shorter crew today, so I guess the weather scared them. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
We are going to be joined later by our Saline County Clerk, Don Merriman, to talk about young people and elections in Saline County. So look forward to that. But for now, we're going to talk about some things that we're hearing on the news, and one of the things we're hearing a lot about is Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. And which one do you like better, Ryan? Obamacare or Affordable Care Act?
I couldn't honestly explain the difference between the two.
That's because there is no difference. They're exactly the same.
I think it's a step. I don't know about a good step, but a step in the right direction.
So who does it actually help? Does it help the people with insurance or the people without insurance? Or
I don't know. I don't know if they know who it's going to help. I think it gives you a choice if you have, from what I understand, if you have health insurance with your employer, you can stay with that as long as that employer continues to offer it, or you can go on the open marketplace, and that would be the website that we've been hearing about how it doesn't work or something. I don't know if they've got some of the bugs worked out or not, but anyway, they can go onto that website and maybe look at other carriers and do open market and pick out.
And this is not something that we were able to do before today?
I don't know. I think you've always had that ability if you've got the right amount of money. Supposedly this is going to help those who have not been able to get insurance before, and I think someone was telling us earlier that she knows of someone that it's helping with medication that has not been available up to this point to that person. But another person she knows it's hurting because they still can't get what they're needing. So I really don't know what the score is. I do think that one of the things that we're hearing about on television right now is the fact that they're calling older people. You know, they have those navigators. They're supposed to be the ones that help navigate you through this process, and they're trained to teach you and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And what's happened is these people, as usual, we take something good and we make it bad, and they're calling older people, which they always prey upon, and are getting personal information about those older people to use in a negative way to steal identities and those kind of things. So how do you know if the person is a real navigator or not? Are they supposed to cold call? I mean, I don't know any of the information.
I don't know.
well, I think that's.
I don't trust anybody over the telephone
going on
anyhow.
for years.
I don't have a home phone because anybody who would call me on a home phone is a telemarketer or some kind of scammer. Nobody calls those things anymore.
Well, and now that you brought that, there was a Wichita company that just was fined $10,000 for the No-Call Act violation.
They called somebody again after they requested to be taken off the list.
Well, I think, isn't there a list that we signed up for a number of years ago that says we don't want these phone number, we don't want our phone number called?
That first one expired, then you had to re-sign up again after that.
Well, maybe that's why I'm getting calls that I didn't. I thought, why are they calling me? I thought I had signed up.
I think it was 7 years the first time that went through, and now it might be a semi-annual or biannual event now when you re-sign up.
And I guess my question is, why am I the one that has to be responsible to call and say, don't call me? I mean, why do I have to keep track of when I signed up for it?
Because under that assumption, everybody wants to be marketed to. That's what we're sitting around waiting and drooling for when we're having dinner at home.
Well, let's just I'm walking in the door, I've been at work all day, and I walk in the door, and the first thing I'm answering the phone thinking, okay, what's the problem? And it's some marketer, hi, how are you today? Well, leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's what I feel about it.
I thought you'd say, okay, I want to buy.
Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
I'm one of those.
for Obamacare, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And for those of you who think I'm a liberal, I'm not, just so you know. I was told that someone thought I was too liberal. They just don't know me very well. I'm totally the opposite of that. But, and speaking of government, how about government shutdown and what's going on in Washington and the truckers and the vets protesting, and what do we think about what's going on there in Washington?
It needs to stop. There's a lot of people that are close to people that we know who, up until today, in a lot of cases, have gone without any kind of remuneration for any work they may or may not have had to do in the last few weeks since this problem began.
Well, and I think it hurts the regular worker. Like my sister's, she works for the government. She has, since day one, that's it, no pay. But she's still got to pay her house payment. Mm-hmm. She's still got to pay all of her bills.
Yep.
It doesn't matter while they debate this subject they're having, or somebody's not giving in, or however it may be.
Who do you blame? Republicans, Democrats, or both?
All of them.
You know,
I blame them both. I do.
they're a bunch of home team players that won't bow to anything that somebody else on the other side suggests, and it's just...
Would you blame the Senate or the House?
I blame everybody. I mean, I really do. Because the reason I say that I blame everybody is because they know that it would affect, everybody knew what it would do to the working people, to the people who really have government jobs, who still have bills, who can't afford to be off so many days or those types of things. Luckily, they kept the Social Security, or we'd have some of our elderly people really throwing a fit. I mean,
well, do you not think that too some of these ploys they're doing are just to get our attention? They're hurting because they want to get the average American's attention. Most of us don't work for the government.
They have to get the average American's
But we'll be
attention
right back,
by...
and we'll finish that discussion here in just a little bit. So we hope you'll stay tuned to The Scene.
And the rock concert is way over head heels. We'll be back with more news later. No, we won't. We're still going, lady.
Welcome back to The Scene. We were talking about the government shutdown and all the different people that we can point fingers at and whose fault it is.
It's your fault.
It's my fault.
Yes.
Well, it probably is, kind of. But, you know, I don't know that I disagree with all of it. And I'll be real honest with you. I don't think that some of the things that they're shutting down are things that are easily seen by the public. So they're making it like the White House and the memorials that... I've been to the mall in Washington, D.C. There's never been a fence or a barricade around the place. It's just an open, grassy area that you can just walk. And so I'm not sure why they felt the need to close that, because they knew it would get on TV and it'd make a big scene.
Well, it was just part of another whole swath of types of employees who could be considered frivolous, not necessary. They're just standing around to maintain huge, immobile stone objects that really aren't going anywhere that particular day or for the next couple weeks.
I suppose they're there for vandalism, and I mean, Washington D.C. You know, our White House is not exactly in the best part of D.C., so you know, there's probably a lot of crime, that kind of thing. So I can understand why we need some security in that, but yeah, I think you're right. I think that it just seems a little crazy, and as far as the House and the Senate, you know, this is just a political ploy.
But aren't they still getting paid?
Sure, they're getting
Yeah,
paid.
they're getting paid.
Yeah,
all
they're
day
getting
long.
paid,
They're
but the other
essential
people,
employees.
and we can say that it doesn't affect some of those other people, but if you really look at it, like right now, I don't think we got, like we was, when we had an alert, we would be able to check the people coming in and out. I don't think we have a lot of those people.
E-Verify is down. Employers can't check the E-Verify.
Well, and then if you really want to get technical, people can't even people that are buying houses are really messed up
yeah.
because they can't get the loans because the government is shut down. So if you planned on getting a house by such and such a date, your realtor may need to get you a storage place to put your stuff if that landlord wants you out of the house because they found somebody else.
A new renter. Yeah, I never
That's
thought about
right.
that. Yeah. So, and I think there's a business in Wichita or something they were talking about. You can't get a small business loan. So, yeah, it definitely does have a trickle down effect. But I think we also have to curtail spending somehow. Is this the right way? Well, I don't know. But we can't keep, you know, letting the debt ceiling rise and rise and rise to the point of no return, which we already have anyway. It's costing everybody too much money. But is that the answer, shutting down the government? I don't know. I heard on the way in the Constitution is supposed to keep us from defaulting on our loans. But it also is supposed to make sure we have a budget. You know, we haven't had a budget for 5 years. They haven't even passed a budget. So anyway, speaking of budgets, did you guys know, and I want to ask you how much you spend. You know, we have a Halloween coming up. The average person spends $75 per household on Halloween. Do you spend that much money on Halloween?
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you? Candy, and what all do you do?
Costumes, candy, decorations.
Really?
$75 could be light, but yeah.
Really? So that Halloween
Yeah.
store makes a lot of money?
We have two of them in town now, actually.
Do we really?
We have one in the mall, and we've got that big outlet that's opened up next to Harbor Freight.
Well, then you got what, Party City?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Party
They have-
Central on the south side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got three places that are
I'd
just
tell
chock
you how
full.
much I spend.
I spend goose eggs.
0.
Nothing?
Well, that's not quite true. We have
You got
kids
no
coming through.
kids?
I don't.
You had no trick-or-treaters come say?
I don't do it.
I don't do that.
What is wrong
Well,
nowadays?
we
When I
probably
was a
have.
kid, we trick-or-treated like as soon as school got out until well past dark. Everybody did. The streets were full of kids. Nowadays, I see like 2 or 3 trick-or-treaters come.
Well, the mall has it, and then you got Kansas Wesleyan doing Safe Halloween. You've got the city of Salina doing Safe Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, the downtown area, and then where I work, we allow the employees and grandkids and stuff to come, and so I probably give away 100 or more pieces of candy that day. there
And
at
I
the
think
office.
Brown Mackey's doing something too this
Yeah,
year.
they're doing it on the next weekend, next Saturday. They're having an open house.
Are they?
2 open houses, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Free barbecue and a children and adults Halloween costume contest, both rounds.
So, you know, yeah. So we have the kids coming through work, and that's about all I ever see. So, well, what do you think about the Sierra Club complaining about the Kansas Department of Health and Education or Environment not controlling hog farm odor in western Kansas?
Well,
I can't even say
I
without
don't know
laughing.
what the Sierra Club is. What is the Sierra Club?
How do I want to say this? They're tree huggers, granolas.
Tree huggers. Okay.
Well, it looks like we're
And-
running out of time, so we'll be back with our guest, Don Merriman, so we hope you'll stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vidrickson Distributing Company, proudly serving the Salina area since 1963. 1825 Bailey Road, Salina, Kansas 67401, 785-827-2386. beerswithboone.com.
Hi, I'm Randy Russell with Solutions for Life. Did you know that 35 million Americans are without life insurance and another 58 million Americans say they don't have enough life insurance? When I mention life insurance to someone, the answer is sometimes you can't insure me. If you've been turned down for heart trouble, COPD, diabetes, or just overweight, call me today to discuss your options. Don't put this off another day. Call 404-6664.
Hello, I'm Sherry Albright with Comfort Keepers. We are a proud sponsor of Access TV. We assist seniors to stay independent in their own homes by customizing what they really need and want. We try to focus on keeping seniors safe in their homes, focusing also on proper nutrition by providing balanced meals. We also encourage exercise, keeping seniors also very active and engaged through interactive caregiving. We hope that you enjoy the sights and sounds on Access TV.
Randy Russell and Bob Reynolds of Solutions for Life have over 34 years' experience in helping retirees find the right Medicare plan at affordable prices. As insurance agents that work with over 50 insurance companies, they can shop and compare plans side by side to help determine which Medicare plan is right for you. Randy and Bob know Medicare backwards and forwards. They take pride in the service they provide and the savings they bring to their clients. For their free report, Choosing the Right Medicare Plan for You, call 404-6664 today.
Hi, and welcome back to the scene. We've been
Nerve impulse.
Ryan, do you have some questions you want to start with?
Sure. Off the top of your head, do you have any idea how many people do vote in Saline County in an average election? Or the last one, at least?
Well, I can talk about this year's election, April 2nd. That was the city commissions, city councils, school boards here in the city of Salina, of course, and Saline County. We had 12% turnout.
That's 12
out of
Registered voters.
12% of registered voters, which means we have about 35,000 registered voters, and we had right around 5,000 people turn out to vote.
Wow.
We had one township in Saline County that has 84 voters in it, and not a one
Nobody
voted.
showed up.
And that was for school board issues. And so 12%, that is typical, unfortunately, around the state of Kansas this year. Last year, of course, was a presidential election, and we had about 63% turnout.
Sure.
Which is about, roughly 20,000 voters.
Okay. Now, was that a high or low turnout for that?
That's pretty good.
presidential
There's another statistic I might mention. The last four presidential elections, 2000, 2004, 2008, and in 2012 presidential elections, we've had a 63% turnout.
It's on
If
the dot
nothing
every
else,
time.
our voters
Consistent.
are very consistent. 63% turnout.
Yeah.
And that's for president, not everything else that was on the ballot.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that the presidential election brings them out, but not the local? Do people not understand local is what really spends our money? and
People,
dictates?
right, local, as you've said, people, the city commissions, the school boards make local decisions. People just like to say they voted for president.
Yeah. You
For
hear
one
your
reason or
favorite
the
rock
other, they
stars on
wanna
TV
vote for
at
president.
campaign time.
And yes, they vote for other things that I was on that ballot as well. They vote for other candidacies, other questions, constitutional amendments, that sort of thing on that ballot, but number one is president.
Yeah, and we have so little say what goes on in DC.
Exactly.
We could say so much more if they would just vote here. Well, do you think the voter registration, the new rules that we've got here in Kansas are going to cause problems or not as far as voter registration? Do you see any changes?
Well, the big change took effect January 1 of this year, and that was for brand new voters to the state of Kansas. That's not anybody who was already registered to vote December 31 of 2012, but brand new registered voters, 18 years of age, new people moving to the state of Kansas have to show proof of citizenship. And that has caused a problem in the state of Kansas. I don't know the exact numbers. We're pretty close probably to 18,000 people in the state of Kansas who have filled out a voter registration application, which I have here. but they haven't showed proof of citizenship. Of course, that primary thing there is birth certificate. And you can use passport, and there's various other things that they can use. So they're in our voter information system. It's called Election Voter Information System, called ELVIS for short. ELVIS says we've got 18,000 people who think they're registered to vote, but they haven't showed proof of citizenship yet. Here in Saline County, we have over 300 people. And when they come out to vote, we'll let them vote a provisional ballot, but guess what? We can't count it because they're not an official registered voter yet. So my goal is to get everybody to show proof of citizenship that needs to do that.
Sure.
Okay. So how do you do that? I mean, to me, when they turn in this registration, they should have it, so.
Well, we ask for it by letter when we mail out a letter. We ask, say we do a mailing of 20, we might get 6 back.
And you get 6 photocopies of their
Gets photocopies,
stuff
or they
back?
bring it in and we'll make a copy of it for
Okay.
them. And we scan that in, attach it to their file.
Okay.
The thing I'm going to do now is to go door to door, literally, to these 300 plus people that we have, and I've got some help that says they're going to help me. We'll go door to door, and just to remind them, I'll have a little card made up and say, you are not a registered voter yet. You may think you are, but you still have to show us proof of citizenship for us to count your vote next year. Here are the elections coming next year. We'll get a copy of that and take care of it right there for them.
Okay.
Now, if they tell me to get off their porch and they don't want to ever see me again, I'll do that too.
Of course, you can be accommodating.
So I'm looking over your list, and it really doesn't look like anything that the normal person wouldn't have.
Right.
Now, would a
No.
driver's license count? I don't see that on
it's
here.
not on there. That's what
Not-
I'm noticing too.
it's-
Nor
so
is
Because that
proof
doesn't
Social
have
Security
citizenship,
card.
does it?
Right.
Gotcha, okay.
Social Security card doesn't do it either. But birth certificate, U.S. passport, naturalization document if you've been naturalized in the United States, Bureau of Indian Affairs card, hospital record of birth. They do make a little birth registration card that is a little wallet card that works as well. I wrote that here at the top of the form. Various other things that are
Will
listed there, but
everybody have to-
primarily birth certificate.
Over time, when people go to register again, will they have to submit this stuff, or if I've already been registered, am I grandfathered in
No,
for life?
once you're done, if you move, let's say you move from Saline County to Dickinson County, you don't have to do that.
Okay, that was my
Just to
question.
move within the state. This is only for brand-new registered voters in the state of Kansas. I want to
So
make
we
people
have, so
aware.
we have 300, is that what you're saying?
We have a little over 300 in this county, in Saline County,
That's registered?
that have filled out this application, have not showed us proof of citizenship yet. They're brand-new voters that have to show us proof of citizenship.
Well, you know, just not been too long ago, our youngest daughter went to get her driver's license, and we had to have the verified birth certificate from Topeka. So
Right.
this isn't any more difficult than getting a
Right.
driver's license if they're asking for the right information.
Now, the DMV, the driver's license facility, is if they see that birth certificate, they're letting us know that they've seen it, and they're transferring that information to us.
Oh, okay, great.
So if we have it, then we're not gonna go bother your daughter or
Sure.
whoever it may be if we already have it. But it's the people who have not showed proof of
Gotcha.
citizenship yet.
Okay,
That makes
Yeah.
sense to me now.
yeah.
I'm on a DMV website, and it's asking me if I would like to register to vote. And
Right.
I'm just wondering, because when I logged into that DMV website, I logged in with anything but official information, you know. And then it gave me that opportunity, but I guess it was all linked to my driver's license, and I did have to show them that stuff at that time, so,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay, great. Well, what about when they go to vote? You know, I'm hearing a lot of people really upset they have to take ID in now.
Well, ID started last year in 2012, and it was something new to the state. As we all know, when we get on a plane, you have to show your ID. And if you have to maybe use
Blood
your
time.
credit card, sometimes you have to show your ID, your driver's license. It became the law for 2012, and we used it for the first time last August primary. And the Secretary of State, along with all the other election officers in the state of Kansas, did a pretty good job, I think, letting people know that they are to bring their ID with them. Otherwise, we'll let you vote provisionally, which is a paper ballot, fold it up, put in an envelope, we count it then after the election, if you showed us their ID. And it really went well. Fact is, after the primary and after the general election, I congratulated the Saline County voters because they did a very nice job of doing that. Yeah, we had a few little mini protests, but it really went pretty well for us.
Okay. So have you gotten a lot of calls in your office, people complaining about the new law, or
Complaining about the citizenship piece, yes.
more so than the ID?
More so than the ID. ID, we've used it in 3 elections now here in this county, and it really has worked pretty well.
Okay. Why do you think they're complaining about the citizenship?
Well, you know, it's surprising how many people don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a birth certificate.
Yeah.
Maybe they had it, they lost it.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the state of Kansas, if you were born here, you can get a free birth certificate. I do have a form for that. I have a form for
I
everything.
see a
but
lot of forms.
I do have a form for those people who were born in the state of Kansas to get a free birth certificate for voting.
Oh.
However, not everybody in the state of Kansas was born here.
Yeah.
No.
So they're going to have to go elsewhere, whether that's Colorado or Oklahoma, wherever they were born,
Mm-hmm.
and get a birth certificate. Unfortunately, those states aren't going to provide a free one.
Yeah. You have that form on you?
I do have.
Oh, yeah. Could I get one?
Sure, certainly.
Apparently Ryan needs a birth certificate.
I could use one at some point in the future. I don't know where my birth certificate's at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I understand people
Thank you.
move and your parents pass away or whatever, and they maybe
Right.
kept all those things, and those things do disappear.
Kept
or
it
you're-
locked up. and-
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know, or maybe you had it sometime and you forgot what you did with it. If
Well,
you
you-
haven't applied for a passport, you did, I mean,
Well, you
you
don't
probably
have
had no need for that, but,
I've got the one with my footprints on it, but I don't have that official one from Topeka, I don't guess, so.
right, yeah.
But I've never needed it, so they've always
Right.
accepted my footprints, I guess. I don't know, but I guess
You
all
go-
that's changed.
If you go to get a passport, though, they'll ask for the official.
Oh,
one.
you have to.
They did when I went to get mine. I
Right.
had to go get it from Missouri, and they don't give a free one. You had to pay for that. So
I think you have to
I
pay
ended
for
up
it normally
paying.
too. In state, I think it's about $17 the last time I checked. I don't know anything about this here, but I'm going to take
Something on
advantage.
that order, that's right, yes.
So do you think that
But this one's
that
completely
has
free?
anything to do with it? If some of those people happen to pay to get that birth certificate?
A lot of people aren't going to mess with it, and quite honestly, it hurts me to know that we have 300-plus people here in the Saline County who haven't shown proof of citizen. Yeah, it's their responsibility, but
Right.
by the same token, it's something that's a new law, and if they vote, we can't count it.
Yeah.
And as an election officer, I don't like that. I just,
You want to count all the votes, sure, I understand that.
I mean, I
understand
want
that
to count every
completely.
vote that's legal. Obviously, I have to abide by the law too. I'm sworn to an oath to uphold the laws, and so, but it is aggravating and it's frustrating, I guess is a better term, that where we have close to 18,000 people in the state of Kansas who have to show citizenship, and they haven't done it yet.
That's a lot.
And it is, if they come out to vote next year, August and November,
Mm-hmm.
we'll let them cast a ballot, but we can't count.
Can't count it. Provisional paper,
And
fold it
how
in
do you
half.
keep those separate?
We keep those separate, we have them, it's called a provisional, and what they get is a paper ballot, go to the voting booth and vote that paper ballot, put it in an envelope, seal it up. We don't count that until the next week after the primary or the general election.
But it
whichever.
does count towards the election?
Well, if they haven't showed proof of citizenship, unfortunately,
No.
we cannot.
Okay, and so you have to go back and verify afterwards?
Right.
That they'd come back
Right.
and shown that ID later
Exactly.
on? Okay.
So what do you keep all these records of those people that come in and show this, so you make a copy of
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Or,
Yeah, we-
and then that stays in their file
Right,
or
stays in
something?
in their file. It's called the Election Voter Information System. That's where a scanned copy of the voter registration application is. Any other documentation we have, if they bring in a birth certificate, for instance, we scan that in, of course, give them back the original or the copy, whatever they brought, and that stays in their file. It's a very, very highly encrypted system, by the way, because it's got birth dates and
Personal
socials on
information.
there and driver's license numbers. And
What
so-
else is it tracking besides our registration? Does it track our instances of voting, if not our
Yes,
votes
sir.
themselves?
Voter history. It does
Yeah.
track voter history. It does show that you voted in November election of 2012, but you didn't vote in the April 2nd election.
Doesn't show how we voted though?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, absolutely. I don't want to know how people vote. You know, no, it's still a secret ballot and it always will be.
Hold that thought, and we'll be right back. Thank you. And we're back. We have been joined by Don Merriman, a Saline County clerk, and from our election office here in Saline County. And we've been talking about voter registration, but my question, Don, is getting young people to vote. You know, I've been voting since I was 18, not always making the best choices, but how do we get young people interested in voting? And are you doing anything from your office to do that?
I reach out to any school that will allow me to come, whether that's elementary school, middle school, high school, local colleges. I reach out wherever I'm allowed to come in and talk. I typically in the fall go to Lakewood Middle School, talk to 250 some seventh graders in social studies classes out there, tell them what I do in my office. I actually have them fill out a voter registration application.
That's a
And tell
great
them,
idea.
you know, I know you can't mark that you'll be 18 yet, but show them how easy that is.
Yeah.
I take voting machines along
Oh, fun.
and let them vote on the voting machines. I did this last year at Coronado Elementary. 4th and 5th graders did the same thing. I gave them voter registration application ahead of time. The teachers went over how to fill it out, and we had every child come in and vote on voting machines.
Cool.
I have actually had the presidential ballot on trainers. I used my training machines to, obviously, to work with our election board workers. And I had all those 4th and 5th graders cast a ballot for president. In the years past, in fact, last year I did that also. I take 2 machines to Lakewood and let every student in that school vote on the presidential ballot, and it's the same ballot their parents are voting on.
Yeah.
And they study over that whole ballot. They're probably the better informed voters,
So they're
probably the
better
best informed voters of the whole county. So I do reach out that way. Typically every fall I go to South High School and actually use voting machines to let them vote on homecoming queen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And that's a real live election for them.
Nice.
They come up, they check them off their list, let them come up and vote on homecoming queen.
Yeah.
I was at Central High School in January and we voted on the Sadie's King.
Okay.
So my thought is let's get into the schools, especially into the high schools and the colleges where they're going to be voting here pretty soon, and let them see how simple it is. Cast a ballot for a homecoming queen or a Sadie's King or whatever it may be. And I've been to Kansas Wesleyan for Constitution Day, and was just in Brown Mackey not too long ago last month for Constitution Day. Take voting machines there. They had a little straw poll going on, more of a survey there at Brown
about
Mackey.
school services. I saw your machine set up there.
Right, and so
I played with it.
Right, and so we, I think we had about 130 some students vote on that. So they wanted to, just some questions. What kind of activity would you like to do? Bowling or movies, whatever. And so they got to, and then usually what I do then is I'm able to close the machines down give them the results within 5 to 10 minutes after we close the polls, close the machines down. That's the same way with any of these. I close them down and give them a little printout of how people voted, not individually.
Right.
Still a secret election.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, do you feel like the young people are wanting to vote, or do you think they really, when it comes to real elections, they really just don't really care? They want it to be as fun as voting for Homecoming King or Sadie's King or whatever, but they...
You know, we've had a lot of discussions about the 18, 24-year-old, and those are typically the lowest turnouts that we see of any age range. And part of that's to do with the fact that they probably don't have a home loan or a car loan, or they may have a student loan, and don't see the importance of voting particularly until they do get married and have a child or two, and buy a house and buy a car. And, you know, you're working every day, and I realize people have a busy life, but it doesn't take that long to vote.
No, it doesn't.
We start advanced voting 20 days prior to every election. During advanced voting time frame, we vote in our office. We vote by mail. We can mail a ballot 20 days out. You've got until 7 o'clock election night to get that ballot back to us. We make it as simple as we possibly can. You can sit there in your own home and look at the newspaper or look at the documentation that you've been provided by the candidates and make your choice right there. Your husband and wife can talk it over. I mean, it's not like a regular polling place. You can vote at home. But going back to the student ID idea, it's just I don't know, I can't call it apathy, but maybe there's a certain amount of that.
No, you think that's changed
a
over
fair
time?
bit of it. There's a fair bit of apathy.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
When I go to speak to any group, I always talk about, in the 14 years that I've done this, we've had 2 tie votes, and I ask them, you know how we break a tie in the state of Kansas?
How do we break a tie in the state of Kansas?
Flip a coin.
Oh.
We have both candidates come in. We sit down with the 3 county commissioners.
not know that.
They're the board of county canvassers. Literally, I'm not joking. This has happened twice in the time I've been there. But we bring in both candidates and say, okay, here's the official coin, and show them the official coin and ask one of them to call and flip it.
Oh, how do you determine which one you get to ask who makes the call?
Just they can do that themselves.
Yeah.
Now, would they be able to do a recall at that point if they didn't like the way it turned out when you flipped your coin?
No, because that's the final
final word.
deal. Yeah. Wow. And then after I talk about all that, I said my point is that your vote really does count.
It does.
It does really count.
Up until that point.
Yeah, up until that point.
Then it doesn't. It should come to fisticuffs, I think. They should have
Homecoming
to fight.
queens fighting. That would
Some
be
kind
interesting.
of competition. You can't just leave it up to a coin toss.
Well,
Somebody
so far we
creative
haven't
and
had
clever.
any ties in the homecoming queen contest. We've had some pretty close races, I can tell you that.
Oh my goodness. Well, that sounds interesting. I can't quit laughing. That's funny. I just see these girls in their homecoming dresses fighting. I don't know.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, good times. You're a little bit weird.
So on another note,
Sure.
I kind of read in the paper, aren't you looking at doing a little something different?
I've explored the possibility of running for Secretary of State. I was voted in, as I said last year, by the people of Saline County, and I've decided this is the official. I'm just going to stay where I am, and I'm going to do my job and that I was elected to do.
Yeah.
I've got more than likely 4 elections coming next year, 2 of them school bond issues, besides the primary and the general election. So I am going to stay as county clerk. I won that election, and I want to be a full-time county clerk, county election officer.
And how
So,
long is that election good for? I mean, you were
I
elected just
have
last year.
another. It's a 4-year term.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
I'm always on the presidential ballot. I always say,
that's right.
people ask me, well, when are you elected? And I say, well, you know, the President of the United States was over here, and then I'm over here on this column.
On the other page.
So they
Yeah.
they pay attention to the President of the United States and other candidates.
The more interesting ones.
Well,
The
they're
ones
all
you see on
interesting, I
TV.
think.
Of course.
Oh, I don't know. They're the more interesting
Well,
ones.
I'd love to see more student interest, 18 to 20-somethings come out and vote.
Yeah.
me too.
Anything I can
You're
do
gonna have to entice them.
I can get them, I'd love to have them come vote.
Reality show.
Reality,
That'll get them down.
someday, and I don't know whether I will see it in my lifetime, I think I will, we will have internet voting.
Oh,
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
gonna have to come, but that's gonna be so
I-
fake and
reason I
hackable
s-
at first.
Reason I say that is I serve on a committee, the Technical Guidelines Development Committee, and we work with the National Institute of Standards and Technology in Maryland. And we are working on a pilot project to allow folks in the military to vote on the internet. Wow. And that may happen by about 2018. I think perhaps we'll see it in the 2020s, somewhere in that range where we will be able to vote on the internet.
Interesting.
Well, talking about the military vote, though, that brings up a good question. How do those votes get counted? You know, when they're deployed, how do they get counted?
Good question. We have last about 3 or 4 elections, we email a ballot, we scan in a ballot, email a ballot to the folks in Afghanistan, or Iraq, or Korea, wherever, Germany, wherever they are, here in the United States. If they're a registered voter here in Saline County, we scan in a ballot, they in turn print it off, vote it, scan it back in, and email it to us. So in seconds, we have that voted ballot back. Instead of, our federal deadline is mailing 45 days out. But we do primarily 99.5% of the ballots that we do are by email, and it works very, very well.
Okay. So how do they count in that main election?
Oh
that
yes,
night?
they count in that main election. They sure do.
Because I had heard that there were several bags of supposedly, I don't know Saline County obviously, but here in the U.S. that didn't get counted in some of the last elections.
Well, unfortunately, if those ballots get mailed, as I said, 45 day out, I mean, you can mail them earlier than that if you have them ready to go, but 45 days out is the absolute deadline to get mailed. And sometimes they don't, if we mail a ballot to Afghanistan, we may not get it back till the next year.
Oh, wow.
It's horrible.
That would
And
be
it won't
horrible.
get counted.
Oh, no.
No, it definitely
Those
doesn't.
don't get set aside in case there is some kind of tie scenario and they decide to come back
No.
to their heaps of old mail.
No.
No.
But on another note, you did say about the computer, but basically they're kind of doing that already if you're scanning and emailing, because that's going through an internet system.
Right,
there.
it's going through an internet system.
So, and you just, do they have to provide some certain ID that it really is them, or you don't really know?
Right, they have what they call a CAT card in the
Oh, I
military.
gotcha. Oh, okay. So that card has a special number?
Right.
Great, okay. Well, you know, I'm really concerned about the voter registration and the turnout. You know, for people to not, 12% of the registered voters in Saline County, that is
The people
disheartening to think
that
those are people
register
controlling.
aren't necessarily interested in voting. They just happen to be standing in line at the type of event that would ask them if they would mind registering, and it's nothing but a yes or no answer, and bam, it's done.
Well, I tell you what, I guess we could talk about this all night, but I'm getting the wrap-up sign, so I think we better close for tonight. But Don, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Don.
And
Glad
we
to be
appreciate
here.
your service with Saline County.
Glad
So
to be
stay
here.
tuned, and we'll be back in just a few moments. Thank you.
Fidrickson Distributing Company, proudly serving the Salina area since 1963. 1825 Bailey Road, Salina, Kansas 67401, 785-827-2386. beerswithboone.com.
Hi, I'm Randy Russell with Solutions for Life. Did you know that 35 million Americans are without life insurance and another 58 million Americans say they don't have enough life insurance? When I mention life insurance to someone, the answer is sometimes you can't insure me. If you've been turned down for heart trouble, COPD, diabetes, or just overweight, call me today to discuss your options. Don't put this off another day. Call 404-6664.
Hello, I'm Sherry Albright with Comfort Keepers. We are a proud sponsor of Access TV. We assist seniors to stay independent in their own homes by customizing what they really need and want. We try to focus on keeping seniors safe in their homes, focusing also on proper nutrition by providing balanced meals. We also encourage exercise, keeping seniors also very active and engaged through interactive caregiving. We hope that you enjoy the sights and sounds on Access TV.
Randy Russell and Bob Reynolds of Solutions for Life have over 34 years' experience in helping retirees find the right Medicare plan at affordable prices. As insurance agents that work with over 50 insurance companies, they can shop and compare plans side by side to help determine which Medicare plan is right for you. Randy and Bob know Medicare backwards and forwards. They take pride in the service they provide and the savings they bring to their clients. For their free report, Choosing the Right Medicare Plan for You, call 404-6664 today.
Hi, welcome back to The Scene. We've been joined by Dr. Milo Wilcox of the Living Well Chiropractic Clinic here in Salina, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about staying well. And so, Dr. Wilcox, we'll talk about why should someone see a chiropractor?
Well, that's a good question. The spine and nervous system control all functions of the body. So the brain makes mental impulses, travel down the spinal cord and out to the nerves, to the body to make everything in the body work. All the organs, glands, muscles, tissues, everything in the body is run from the spine and the brain down the cord. So many people don't realize it, but they can develop interference between the intelligence running the body and the body itself, whether it be their heart, their muscles, or glands or whatever. They don't know that. And they just kind of think, well, they just tolerate the aches and pains. But the person that see a chiropractor have their spine checked. They go to a dentist to get their teeth checked. I go to the dentist 3 times a year to get my teeth checked before I hurt. Most people, though, it's amazing, they wait till they hurt before they see a chiropractor.
Fidrickson Distributing Company, proudly serving the Salina area since 1963. 1825 Bailey Road, Salina, Kansas 67401, 785-827-2386. beerswithboone.com.
Hi, I'm Randy Russell with Solutions for Life. Did you know that 35 million Americans are without life insurance and another 58 million Americans say they don't have enough life insurance? When I mention life insurance to someone, the answer is sometimes you can't insure me. If you've been turned down for heart trouble, COPD, diabetes, or just overweight, call me today to discuss your options. Don't put this off another day. Call 404-6664.
Hello, I'm Sherry Albright with Comfort Keepers. We are a proud sponsor of Access TV. We assist seniors to stay independent in their own homes by customizing what they really need and want. We try to focus on keeping seniors safe in their homes, focusing also on proper nutrition by providing balanced meals. We also encourage exercise, keeping seniors also very active and engaged through interactive caregiving. We hope that you enjoy the sights and sounds on Access TV.
Randy Russell and Bob Reynolds of Solutions for Life have over 34 years' experience in helping retirees find the right Medicare plan at affordable prices. As insurance agents that work with over 50 insurance companies, they can shop and compare plans side by side to help determine which Medicare plan is right for you. Randy and Bob know Medicare backwards and forwards. They take pride in the service they provide and the savings they bring to their clients. For their free report, Choosing the Right Medicare Plan for You, call 404-6664 today.
Hi, welcome back. We're joined by Dr. Milo Wilcox of the Living Well Chiropractic Clinic. My question to you, doctor, is what is the most common complaint that a person comes to finally come to see a chiropractor?
Low back pain is probably the #1 complaint. It has been for years. We treat many, many other conditions. I treat over 60 different conditions listed on my website, but low back pain is going to be about #1. Then we're going to have the neck pain and the headaches in that category. And so those are some of the top ones that people come for. There are many other conditions, though.
Does it hurt to come see you?
No. The kind of care that I provide doesn't hurt, and most chiropractors provide care that doesn't hurt. So there are some that have methods that are more rough than others, and so there are some complaints that way from some people, but those who use instruments or those who are very gentle by using hand manipulation, low force but high speed, doesn't have to hurt. I treated people that way for 25 years before I got computers. And
oh, you just said the word.
Yep.
Computers.
Yeah.
Now, computers are into chiropractic, right?
Yes, oh yes.
How long has that been going on?
Well, the initial type started about 25 years ago, literally, by treating by computer, but they're very sophisticated now. And I've been using computers to treat, analyze and treat the spine now for 8 years. This is this particular month, October, is 8 years now for me, utilizing them. And my patients love them, I love them. It's very gentle. So, it's very accurate too, because the computer will analyze the spine, determine which vertebrae are stuck, and then it will tap and oscillate and tap the spine. Mine starts off at 20 times a second, frees up a stuck vertebra, and then the nerve supply can be restored.
Is there a time, though, when your hands have to go to work? Or is the computer doing everything now?
Well, I have to use my head to figure out what to do, and I have to hold it with my hand. But
hold the mouse with your hand, right?
Right.
Whatever happened to the thing that you?
Well, those are still available, and that's
I used to love that. Wham!
Yeah. Well, that'll click you one time. Mine will do 20 impulses in a second. So it's very gentle, but it's high speed, and it does take a lot of force. But the pulsation does it. There are other instruments out there that do something similar to that. They're just not tied to an analysis computer. So when you use the Pulsar computer like mine, it analyzes the spine, treats the spine, it'll shut off automatically many times when the joint's adjusted. You see everything on a color monitor, and you can have a color printout of it.
Do chiropractors ever prescribe medicine of any kind?
No. The short answer is no. And the reason is we're not licensed to prescribe medicine. But when you say, well, why don't chiropractors want to prescribe medicine? We have to get back to the question here of causal problems. Medicine, all medications are going to either speed up or slow down a function of the nerve system. That's what they do. They do it very well. So a chiropractor is going to reduce the interference. Say you got a problem with a headache, reduce the interference in your neck to get rid of the impulses going to your head that's causing the pain, then we don't need medicine. We don't need a painkiller. So if we do our job right, we don't need medicine for using that for pain as an example. And another factor, some people are starved for the right nutrition, so many chiropractors utilize whole food nutritional supplements. So by using supplements, by reducing the nerve impingement, we don't really need to use a medication.
I notice on your stationery, living well with advanced technology and nutrition.
Yes.
Is that something fairly new for chiropractic?
Well, not really. I use standard process supplements, and that started back in 1929, and with a product called Catalin, which is our multiple, and that's still used today. It's still just as valid today. It has about 20 different whole food components. So there are many other good companies too. So different chiropractors will use different companies, and several here in the area, they'll do use standard process. It's my favorite. And there are others. I use other products too, but that's how we do it.
Well, my question too is, what else do you use to do besides the nutrition? I guess the nutrition would be help stop pain and promote healing, but do you tell people exercises they can do or that kind of thing to help while they're at home?
Well, there are exercises that can help some conditions, and that's fine. One of the things I use, because people come to me because they're hurting. I usually wait till they're hurting. So I use it's called the Multi-Radiance Alliance, or Multi-Radiance, laser. And that laser has several different beams of laser light, infrared light, and electrical stim, all coming out of the head. And then it pulsates. For instance, I was treating somebody for chronic pain today. The man's 73 years old, 74 along in there, and had surgery. So I'm treating him, and it's pulsating between 1,000 and 3,000 times a second. And that type of light beam therapy to the scar tissue and to the area where it's hurting has an amazing effect to stop the pain, and it does promote healing. It does promote healing. If you got a fresh wound or a cut, many times you won't even have a scar from it where you would ordinarily have one, because the light, the laser light and the methods used that have been put together now will cause the body to heal without the scar tissue.
Well, how can our viewers learn more about you and where you're located?
Well, they can learn about me from my website, livingwellsalina.com. That's livingwellsalina.com. And call my office at 826-9911, 826-9911. They can learn there. And you can come to my office for a free demonstration of the technology. The technology I use is so advanced, so sophisticated, that people have no way to relate to it. They don't understand it. So we have them come to the office for free demonstration. You can see me adjusting a lady on my website, and there's a lot of good information on the website about chiropractic. So I encourage people to go to the website, learn what they can at livingwellsalina.com, and if you don't have access to that, just make an appointment at the office. There's no charge. I'll spend 15, 20 minutes explaining these things and showing you around the office.
What's next? Where's it going? Computers, all this technology, what's on the horizon?
Well, I think they're going to have more sophisticated computers. In fact, what I'm using right now it has an upgrade available. I'm going to be getting that next upgrade next time I go back to more advanced training. But it's going to be more computerization. Mm-hmm. And then also in the note-taking, we have to have those for the electronic medical records. And all doctors are going to have them, or they won't be doctors in practice in another 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. We all have to go that way. So I think that's where we're headed, more technology.
So how long does a free demonstration take usually?
I'll show them the computer, I'll let them feel it on their hand, or whatever, so they know it doesn't hurt. We want to take away the fear factor, because treatments don't have to hurt, and they don't. And once that's taken care of, then people want to know, can you help me with my problem? And it's a matter of what kind they have. If I can, I'll let them know. Well, if I think I can, then we do an exam, do whatever workup we need to find out what's causing their problem, and go from there.
Okay. Well, Dr. Wilcox, we appreciate you coming in. So again, what's your website? It's
livingwellsalina.com.
Okay.
Livingwellsalina.com, real easy.
All right. And then your phone number is?
826-9911.
Great. All right, Living Wilcox. And where are you located?
We're located we're just by the old Southgate Mall. We're the first building west of Wendy's on Albert Ave, west of Wendy's, and north of what's closed, the old closed down Dillon store.
Right,
so
okay.
West of Wendy's, north of the building that Dillon's used to be in. Everybody knows where that is. So.
And what are your hours?
Well, they're basically from about 8:30 in the morning to 6 at night, with some variations in there. So
okay.
You can get that off the website or the front door.
All right. So
we might mention before we wrap up, the Help Wanted sign is out here at Access TV. If anyone would like to be a part of a show like this or volunteer to be a crew member, contact us and come in and see us.
That would be great. So, well, we appreciate you joining us tonight for this episode of The Scene, and we hope that you'll join us next week. Have a great week. Thank you.